Hey guys, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, and I'm gonna bring you guys a review on a 4-issue miniseries that I got from Big Wheel Comics in that prize that I won a while ago. I finally got done reading all the stuff that he gave me. After I read Hit Girl and the Bartman, I went on to the next thing, which was the 4 issues of Deadpool Pulp. And this is by, I forgot the writer and artist. Bear with me. This is by Adam Glass, written by Adam Glass and Mike Benson. So this is, like I said, 4-issue story arc miniseries. And when I was reading it, I was thinking of it as pretty much the Deadpool noir, how Marvel has their noir series where they put all their characters in the early 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, put them in early time, and see how they fare in that time period. I was thinking that this was that type of story because it does take place after World War II, and characters are a little different. The main characters we have in this book, of course, are Wade Wilson, Deadpool. We have Cable, who's in this, but he's not, Cable as we know him, time-traveling guy with metal arm and all that kind of stuff. He's just somebody who works in the Army, or for the CIA, rather. And we have Strife, who in this is General Strife, and not his regular character that I know the name, but I wasn't really familiar with it in his role in the X Factor and the X-Men and all that. But in this, he plays a totally different role. And what's happening in here is that this is a very CIA-based story. There's a former CIA agent gone rogue, trying to steal and detonate a nuclear briefcase and pretty much blame it on the Russians and start World War III right away. And so what Cable decides is the right person to hire to handle this woman, is he decides that he wants to hire Deadpool, Wade Wilson, because he has a history with this woman who they take to calling outlaw. And, they hire him, they give him all the information, and, they send him on his way to go find this person to stop her. Pretty generic stuff that we've all seen before. Nothing in here, at least for the first really 3 issues, was anything new that we hadn't seen before. That was, I was almost a little bored throughout the first 3 issues just because it was the time period mixed with even the costume wasn't right. He's got the half mask, as you can see. I'll show you the cover to issue number 2. He's got the half mask going on, and you can see that his face isn't all messed up. So I wasn't even digging that. And there's kind of an explanation for the costume. They say Wade Wilson was in the Army during World War II defending America, even though he's Canadian. And he was imprisoned by the Japanese, and he was tortured there, and that's where he became, paranoid and, just multiple personalities in his head and all that kind of stuff. That's where that happened, and that's how, he turned crazy. And so we have that crazy Deadpool in this, except, without the Weapon X stuff. And so I was like, okay, so this is just a different Deadpool. There's some twists in this. I don't know if I want to spoil it or not. I won't spoil it just because in case you guys might be interested in this if you like Deadpool. And if you don't like Deadpool, this is not really Deadpool that you know. This isn't the crack a joke Deadpool all the time. This book is not funny. It's an action book using Wade Wilson. They explain his costume, like I said. He was in the Japanese prison camp. He escaped with Cable, and who was also there. He escaped with Cable, and he took on the costume, the disguise of his torturer, because this is the Deadpool costume is what he was wearing. They change up the origin for Deadpool a little bit throughout this. What they're calling him Deadpool right off the bat. That he goes by codename Deadpool in this, and in his original origin, he gets the name Deadpool because when he was in Weapon X, he wasn't likely to survive. So the other people in Weapon X called him Deadpool because, there was like a death pool for him to see when he would die. It was kind of like betting, and so he took on the name Deadpool because he survived. So they kind of changed it up that way, and they changed it up in some other stuff, which actually made the story better. That I don't want to spoil, because in case you want to read it, there's a major twist in this, and there's a lot of things that happen, and things come together at the end of this, and which this might be a minor spoiler if you get it. At the end of this book, it kind of brings us to the origin of Deadpool. So this will be spoiler alert. This at the end of this, we get brought to Weapon X, and we introduce Deadpool's cancer, and we do all that, and it's done in a realistic way, and also a little unrealistic as well. But all in all, the story is it's not great. The Deadpool stuff going on right now, in my opinion, is a lot better. But if you want to read Deadpool but don't want the jokey Deadpool, or even like any type of silliness at all in Deadpool, this would be the only book that I could recommend, really, that I know of off the top of my head, because this was a very serious book. The art in it reflects that. It's very gritty. It reminds me a lot of the Alex Maleev stuff. And if you just like, darker story, not very dark stories, but just, grittier stories, where the action is taking place and just all that kind of stuff. And there are some cool things that happen in this. Definitely pick this up if that's what you want from your Deadpool book. But under the name Deadpool, for me, it was not what I was thinking it would be. But as a story on its own, even though I said that it's kind of been done before, it's still done very well in this. And again, there's some twists in here that, they happen, they make the story more enjoyable, and everything at the end goes back to the origin, and or at least most things go to the origin. And yeah, so I definitely like how this ended, how it wrapped up. No loose ends, simple story, written well, and yeah, it's a good story. It's only 4 issues, and the covers in here are all really great, by Jay Lee, and I'll put them in order so you guys can see them. Here's to number 1, and that's Outlaw, and of course Deadpool. Issue number 2, which is a really good one. Issue number 3, which might be my favorite one. They also do a lot of flashbacks to Deadpool's torture and his, captivity and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty good. I like that. And here's issue number 4, which is also another really good one. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole story, without spoiling too much. I love Deadpool as a character, one of my favorite characters, even though a lot of people, he's not for everybody, I can tell you that. But, usually his books are very light to read. They're just for, enjoying something. Lately, they've been for enjoyment, and also a great story's been written for them, which is, just tops for me. And, I'm really glad to have these. Thanks to Will from Big Will Comics for sending me this, as well as the Hit Girl trade, or Hit Girl hardcover, I mean. And, maybe one day we'll get a Deadpool collection going on. That would be in the way future, though. Not anytime soon. But yeah, I'm rambling now. So anyways, Wellington signing off with the Comic Book Lowdown, and I'll see you guys next time.